Are you at that stage where you feel like you're stuck in a rut with your job? Is it because your current job isn't heading in the path you expected it to? Or you're not earning enough, but at the same time, you're struggling to take the time out to upskill for your next job? Well, of course, you're going to have to refresh your skills to take on a better role. But time should be the last thing coming in your way. Hi, I'm Ritvik, and if you're stuck in the vicious cycle with your work and want to learn how you can manage upskilling for a new job while working a full-time job, then watch this video till the end. And if you're new to the channel and haven't yet subscribed, do it straight away so you don't miss out on any practical strategies and actionable tips to take your tech career to new heights. Everyone enjoys staying in a comfort zone. Your daily routine, the people you interact with, and the types of challenges you take on at work. How you problem solve them? You pick and choose these activities that fit within your comfort zone. Am I right? But setting into your comfort zone this way can strip you of new opportunities to grow and excel in your life. And this holds good for your career as well. If you have realized that you're in your comfort zone and want to get out of it, the first step is to understand why do you want to get out of it. In this case, ask yourself, why do you want to upskill yourself? Why is it important to you? Is it because you want to move to a better career? Do you want to increase your salary? Or is your current work just plain boring? Whatever the reason is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how strongly do you feel it? Based on your answer, you will know how much of an effort you are going to put into this. If you feel a strong 8, 9 or 10, I'm guessing you're willing to do whatever it takes to upskill yourself for a better job opportunity. If it is anything less than 7, I can tell you that eventually you will get into distractions like movies, games, going out with friends, and whatever else to stay in your comfort zone. So before we move ahead, think again to yourself and decide how serious are you about upskilling yourself. And I will show you how you can do it while managing your full-time job. No matter why you want to upskill, you're going to need a plan before you begin this journey. Based on what your focus is, put together a short-term plan to achieve your upskilling objectives. If you stick around till the end, you'll find out the importance of designing a short-term plan rather than a long-term 6-month or 1-year journey. Once you have that ready, let's look at how you can execute it by managing your main challenges. Now that you have decided why you want to upskill and how badly you want to do it, let's look at 2 major challenges you need to tackle to complete your upskilling journey. Well, I know I promised to share a plan on how you can manage your time well, but along with time, another key factor is motivation. Managing both well will become the key to your success. If you agree, hit that thumbs up and let's look at each factor one by one. Challenge 1. Managing your time. To tackle your problem with time, let's first understand how long you spend working on your full-time job. If you spend less than 8 hours at your work, it's fairly simple for you to manage upskilling on the side. All you have to do is analyze how you are currently utilizing your time and plug gaps to spend about 15 hours a week to upskill yourself. That's right, 15 hours a week for the next 4 to 6 months is all you need to upskill and change your job. If you spend more than 8 hours a day at work and aren't sure how you're going to manage 15 hours a week for upskilling yourself, don't worry. The following parts are just for you. Are you traveling to and from your work every day? You can create time by finding ways to reduce your commute time. The ideal amount of time would be to spend 30 minutes or less both ways. If you're spending more than that, you need to rethink this for yourself. First of all, traveling for 1 or more hours every day can be super exhausting. And by the time you reach home, more often than not, you'll be exhausted to spend energy on learning new things. The process can turn out to be tougher for you after a couple of weeks because you will struggle to show up with a focused and fresh mind. So what can you do to fix this? If you're in the early years of your career, you won't have the added responsibility of a spouse or kids. You have the flexibility to choose where you live. Leverage this and find a place closer to your office. This may seem like a tedious task, but think about the hours of traffic and exhaustion it can save you in the long run. In the worst case scenario, if you can't avoid the commute, try getting as much rest as possible during your commute time. The second thing you can do is create more time for yourself by optimizing your current task. Identify some things that you do at work which can be done faster and in more efficient ways. Like write macros in Excel instead of manually repeating tasks. Get better at debugging so that your development skill increases as well. Write simple shell or Python scripts to automate your tasks. Initially, you may have to put in some extra effort at figuring out faster ways to get things done, but it's going to save you a lot of time in the long run, and that extra time can be put into your learning. Next, and the most important thing for you to effectively utilize your time is to compartmentalize your day. Actively block time in your calendar that is dedicated to your upskilling. It could be in the morning or evening, and whenever you think your focus is high and you can stick to the routine every day. I've seen that many people tend to take time out for themselves when others are sleeping, like around 6 to 8 in the morning before their roommate wakes up, or 10 to 12 in the night after their family or friends are asleep. Whatever time slot you pick, the rule of thumb is that you should be able to follow it consistently for at least 80% of the time. By blocking time, you're clearly compartmentalizing your office work and personal upskilling, and this will help you progress towards your goal in a consistent way. A small tip here, treat these blocks of time with the same importance as your office meetings. Don't miss them unless you have a genuine reason. Now, Let's be practical. Week on week, month on month, it's very hard to stick to a daily routine. Things come up at work or at home that will result in you missing your routine. But this shouldn't be a reason for you to drop your upskilling journey. What you can do instead is plan periodically for high intensity catch-up weeks, like a weekend marathon to catch up with your pending goals. Have you ever done one of these marathons before? The satisfaction you get at the end of it is truly awesome. You'll agree if you have done this before. Say you switch on your high focus mode on a Friday evening and go on with it till Sunday noon. It feels awesome to have a productive weekend and then treating yourself that evening by doing something you like. It sure feels like you earned it. Let me ask you, which one of these would you prefer more? Finishing a set of tasks in the week or spending about 10 hours in the week? The first one is a task-based goal, whereas the second one is a time-based goal. When you're planning your weekly goals, it's going to be useful to understand the nuance between time-based goals versus task-based goals. For example, you work every day between 9 to 5 p.m. This is a time-based goal for your work. Whereas in your weekly meetings with your team, you'll discuss certain tasks and set clear goals on what you would like to complete by the week. These are task-based goals. Both work in tandem. You can use your time-based goals to guide you finish your task-based goals. Your ultimate goal should be to knock off tasks and not the amount of time spent. Who doesn't like to tick off to-do lists, right? The last and the final way to maximize your time and productivity is to take enough breaks. Doing your office work and upskilling on the side on a week-on-week basis can be quite taxing. This is why it's even more important for you to prioritize and plan your breaks. If you skip taking breaks, you'll head towards mental exhaustion and you'll find yourself asking existential questions. While it is normal to feel that way sometimes, we don't want you to get there. You have to be able to manage between pushing yourself far without breaking yourself. In other words, you need to avoid burnouts. Different people have different mileage for this journey, and planning your breaks in advance will help you get to the finish point. You don't want to wake up on a Saturday and not know what to do and waste the day. You'll end up neither upskilling nor feeling relaxed. So plan your breaks in advance and work towards completing your goals and earn those breaks. This will help you set realistic goals and you will be motivated to continue when you complete a milestone in your plan. For example, you can plan a trip in advance with your friends to go after completing an important milestone in your upskilling plan. Personally, I prefer taking 2 full days off a month to clear my mind and start afresh. And by 2 days off, I don't mean regular breaks you take between work and studying. I mean complete time off from computer screens for that time. So far, we have looked at 6 different strategies to manage your time well. If you have more tips that you adopt for yourself, let us know in the comments below. And before we move on to the next part where we tackle challenges like staying motivated, let us know if you're liking the video by hitting that thumbs up. Let's admit, upskilling is harder not because you have to put in the effort, but because you have to put in the effort over a period of time. Simply said, it's a marathon, not a sprint. How do you sustain this over a long period of time? Let's look at some ways that can help you stay motivated throughout the process. Find a buddy who you can pair up with and prepare together. When you share your upskilling goals with someone, it helps each of you to stay accountable to the process and both of you can push each other to stay on track. Who knows, someone watching this video could become your buddy during this journey. Reach out in the comments and find a buddy with whom you can share this journey. Another important thing that people miss out on doing is celebrating achievements during your journey. It could be a small goal or a big milestone you have crossed in your plan. Before moving on to the next milestone, take a moment to celebrate it. Maybe treat yourself with an ice cream or go out with your friends. Whatever you enjoy doing, do that to acknowledge how far you have come at every stage of your learning journey. When you do this regularly, you will automatically start associating incentives with your weekly goals, and that will in turn push you towards accomplishing your goals. So the next time you take off a task from your list, don't forget to celebrate that victory. When setting your goals and creating your upskilling plan, think in terms of short intervals. If you think of working for the next 6 months with the same intensity and rigor week on week, it could seem overwhelming and you may never start your plan. Instead, take 1 to 2 months at a time and only plan on pushing yourself hard for those months. Have you ever thought about how you sat through 8 hours of class for 12 years in your school? Quite a phenomenal achievement when I think about it for myself. And if I rewind and think about it, I realize that I have never thought about it as a 12-year plan. My only goal was to get through with my tests and quarterlies, half-yearlies, final semester. And all I cared about was the holiday break after each exam. This kept me going year after year. And this is how all of us think. It's easier to stick to a long-term plan if we are focusing on short-term goals. And in other words, what the next immediate big target is. And at last, when you start attending interviews in the later part of your upskilling journey, the taste of success at the end of the interviews will take over and become your primary motivation to get through the process. So you can expect that the longer you push through in this journey, the easier it gets to stay motivated in the later parts of your journey. And that brings us to the end of this video. If you found these tips and strategies useful, share it with your friends who need to watch this. And do come back after a few weeks after trying these methods so that you can let us know how these worked out for you. If you're building your career in the software industry, stay tuned for more practical tips and industry insights that will help you take your career to new heights.